Straight ahead on CCX News, how to keep your packages on the porch and away from thieves. Plus, giving from hand to hand.
Well, this really is the culmination of months, really, of work.
We take you to a Golden Valley event that is a human chain of generosity. And we'll show you a children's theater production that's practically perfect in every way.
It's one of the most important lessons, I think, in this show is that anything can happen if you let it.
CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Slatton. The Hennepin County Attorney says a Maple Grove police officer who shot and wounded a man with a knife back in February was justified in his actions. The county attorney says the officers who arrived at the home on Trenton Lane knew there had been calls at the home in the past for a mental health crisis. Attorney Mike Freeman said officers did everything they could to de-escalate the situation, and the officers found themselves in a confined space with a person advancing on them with a knife. The 50-year-old man who was shot in the leg and abdomen did recover. Maple Grove police will also conduct an internal investigation into the incident. People in Brooklyn Park are getting smarter about preventing thieves from stealing packages off their porches. Since October 5th, there have been only 5 stolen package reports in Brooklyn Park, which is pretty remarkable for a city of 75,000 plus people. Eric Nelson explains how police have some simple advice for protecting your deliveries.
Hundreds of years ago, the 3 wise men weren't concerned about their gifts being stolen. But in 2018, package pilfering is something to be aware of.
There's a lot of online shopping that's going on, and unfortunately, that also means a lot of packages are being delivered to homes, and sometimes when we may not even be home.
Away from the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, thieves often pounce on packages that are delivered to empty houses in peaceful neighborhoods.
This could create an easy opportunity for someone that wants to steal items to take those items from your doorstep.
Brooklyn Park police have some tips on how to prevent gift grabbing on your block.
If you aren't going to be home when your package is delivered, maybe tell a trusted neighbor that is home to take the package in for you until you get home after work.
Police say people should also keep tabs on their packages by using various delivery options.
Sign up for the tracking services that the delivery service may offer so that you know the status of your delivery.
Bottom line is, be the eyes and ears on your block. And if you think someone has stolen your packages, take action right away.
You should probably call the delivery company and let them know that you didn't receive the package. Certainly, if you feel you were a victim of theft, please call the police department and file a police report.
Now, there is no surefire way to prevent theft, but Brooklyn Park police do say it's always a good thing to be part of your neighborhood watch. In Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
Brooklyn Park police also want people to take precautions against mail theft, and they suggest getting a locking mailbox. During the Great Recession, Brooklyn Center was hit very hard. You can see signs of how the city is rebounding in next year's budget, which was passed through a special city council meeting this week. Residential home values are up more than 10%, which means taxes are up too. More than 90% of homes will see taxes go up next year. A general fund budget increase of 5% allows for an additional engineering technician and building inspector to handle the increased demand of commercial inspections and infrastructure development projects. Some people did speak out against the increases in the public hearing, but the city manager said citizens are going to start to see some big things happening.
You are going to be shocked next year for some of the redevelopment that will be under construction. So it's been a long time coming.
Another note in the budget included the addition of a full-time community engagement specialist and 4 part-time neighborhood engagement specialists as well. That will help the city engage Brooklyn Center's diverse population. December 7th is a day of remembrance for a pivotal event in the nation's history.
I was only 10 years old, but it was a Sunday dinner, and I'll never forget it because the phone rang. And they said, turn your radio on. And we couldn't believe what was going on.
That, of course, was the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor 77 years ago, which led to the United States entering World War II. Most of the people in the Robbinsdale Historical Society were kids when it happened. And Friday, they remembered the gravity of learning the news.
I'm playing on the dining room table. My mother's out in the kitchen doing her thing when all of a sudden it comes over the air that Pearl Harbor was attacked. And at first it didn't make too much of an impression, but it did to my mother, and she came out and she says, "Oh my God, we're going to be in war." And that kind of got my attention.
Johnston says the attack changed his life, making him realize that the world is much larger and more complicated than he thought. The war lasted almost 4 years, and the U.S. lost more than 400,000 people in it. Meanwhile, December 6th is an important night in Maple Grove. It's the designated day for people to gather at the Angel of Hope statue. There are Angel of Hope statues throughout the U.S. that serve as a place to mourn for grieving parents or loved ones who have lost a child.
The Angel of Hope is a place here at the Arboretum of solitude and just reflection for people to come and remember those that they have lost.
Maple Grove Parks and Rec has expanded the Angel of Hope area to include benches and new spaces that people can dedicate to loved ones. Golden Valley residents are remembering a longtime volunteer known for her passion of serving her community. Lisa Heilicher passed away last weekend at the age of 77. She served on the Golden Valley Human Services Commission for 24 years. Mayor Shep Harris says he appreciated her no-nonsense direct approach and how she inspired others to volunteer.
I mean, you can see her hand in so many things that have helped not only raise money for the community, but also the services. The Human Services Fund provides so many services to people in need here in the metro area, but specifically Golden Valley, and she had a lot to do with that.
This week is Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week, and we are shining a light on these invisible illnesses. In part 5 of this series, reporter Sonia Goins explains how a unique opportunity on Thursday educated more people about the digestive diseases. Sonia?
Shannon, Crohn's and colitis are chronic inflammatory conditions which primarily affect the digestive system. And while there are medicines to help relieve symptoms, there is no cure. That's why education and advocacy are so important. On Thursday, we co-hosted a Twitter chat with Hennepin County Healthcare and the Minnesota chapter of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. People from Brooklyn Park, Miami, Japan, and England joined the conversation. The discussion focused on education and empowerment. Folks talked about debunking stigmas when it comes to IBD. Many folks think it's just a bathroom disease, but the diseases can also affect other parts of the body, like eyes and joints. Doctors provided expertise, while the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation provided resources for patients and their caregivers. The chat continued through the evening and early this morning. If you want to check out the chat, just look for the hashtag IBD Convo. And for more information on inflammatory bowel disease, head to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Shannon?
It's still going on. Thank you, Sonia. Still ahead on CCX News, giving from hand to hand in Golden Valley. Plus, the Maple Grove boys hockey team looks to continue its strong start as they battle Armstrong-Cooper. But first, just make it through this cold blast. Next week, we see the 30s. You could say a Golden Valley company is in the giving spirit. Reporter Meredith Hackler visited Allianz to show us how they are giving back in a big way.
Shannon, if this doesn't put you in the holiday spirit, I don't know what will. Hundreds of Allianz employees have lined up to create a human chain which will take all of the gifts that were collected here at the Allianz headquarters in Golden Valley, put them on a truck, and send them out to families in need.
This really is the culmination of months, really, of work, both on the part of the employees that organize it, and all the employees who make donations over a concentrated multi-week period. But today's the celebration.
With smiling faces and full hearts, Allianz employees are doing their part to make sure others can enjoy the holiday as much as they do.
Yeah, I think it's important for people to know that companies are part of the community. They do want to support local businesses, local activities, and local nonprofits. So I think this is just an example of what companies can do through the generosity of their employees.
Allianz donated 20,000 pounds of food and more than $70,000 in monetary donations to the nonprofit Prism.
$73,000. That allows us to purchase the perishables that are needed. That allows us to be able to have the case management staff who meet one-on-one with every single family to understand their needs.
Allianz Allianz has been donating to local charities for nearly a decade. The human chain has always been a part of the fund because it brings employees and community members closer together.
I think it's a combination of just general interest in supporting the community, which we do throughout the year through volunteer activities and other events, but then the idea that we come together today and work together to load the trucks, it's both symbolic and just really fulfilling.
Now, as you can see, this is the final destination for all of these boxes. Now, there are 2 trucks. One truck is dedicated to food and other necessities that are needed, and the other is for clothing and toys. And the best part about all of this is that every single donation will stay right here in the Twin Cities. In Golden Valley, Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Thank you, Meredith. Prism will also be one of the beneficiaries when the holiday train comes to Golden Valley next Tuesday. The festivities are set to begin at 4:15 at the Golden Hills Drive Railway Crossing, and that's right near Allianz. You are allowed to park in the Allianz parking ramp if you enter from the east. The train is due to arrive at 4:50 p.m. with the show beginning afterward. You can bring a canned good or a toy to donate to Prism as well. Now, coming up next, we get a visit from our favorite nanny, but first we get a visit from our very own John Jacobson. The Breck boys basketball team looks ready for a big season. We'll have highlights of the Mustangs home opener. Sports is next.
The Maple Grove boys hockey team is off to a strong start this winter. They faced off with another local squad, Armstrong-Cooper, coming off a win over Centennial, playing at Maple Grove Thursday. Nice pass by the Crimson's number 8, Justin Janicki, to Trevor Kukkonen, who's wide open on the backside for a shot and goal. Maple Grove leads 1-0 in the first period. The Crimson transition quickly from defense to offense, and Kukkonen feeds Tyler Kostelecki. Nice move here. He gets in and scores to make it 2-0. Still in the first, Henry Nelson passes to Kukkonen, who finds Janicki in front. He jams the puck in, and the Crimson are up 3-0 after one period. Maple Grove leads 4-0 in the second when the Wings get on the board. Matt Campion's shot trickles off goalie Jack Winicky and in, and that goal makes it 4-1. But Maple Grove scores the next 2. Kyle Kukkonen on the rush passes to his brother Trevor. He taps it in for another Crimson goal, and it's 5-1. It's a hat trick for Trevor Kukkonen. And then the senior will pick up the second assist here, giving it to Nelson. Over to Kostelecki for the one-timer goal. Maple Grove wins 7-3. The Crimson is now 4-0-1 on the season. The Champlin Park boys hockey team won its season opener before losing to Maple Grove. They faced another one of the top teams in the Northwest Suburban Conference's North Division in a crossover game. The Rebels at home to face 4th-ranked Andover. And it's the Huskies on the power play in the first. Nick Dainty, Luke Crohn for the goal. Later in the first, the Rebels can't clear their zone, and Gunnar Thorson lasers a shot on home, and it's a 2-0 Andover lead. Second period, nice work down low by the Huskies. Garrett Shifsky to Kyle Nelson, and he beats Brennan Boynton and scores to make it 4-0. But Boynton is an unsung hero in this game. He faces 61 shots and makes 57 saves in the losing effort. 4-0 Andover is the final. In boys basketball, Breck is ranked 10th in Class 2A. The Mustangs took aim at their second win of the season as they welcome Southwest Christian to Golden Valley. The Mustangs out and running. Elijah Zachary throws it up for David Roddy, who lays it in for two of his points, and it's 14-7 Breck. Colorado State signee Roddy draws the defense here and kicks it out to Grayson Phillips. It's for 3. Breck leads by 10. The Mustangs executing well. Zachary dribble drive spin move on the baseline to Julian Bergerson for the basket and foul. Nice play, and Breck is up by 15 at the half. Second half, the Mustangs turn up the defensive pressure. Jaron Morton gets the steal. He'll take it back the other way for 2 of his 19 points. Tough night to watch for the Stars. Morton gets the loose ball and passes ahead to Roddy, who slams it home. The senior finishes with 21 points. Morton helps the Mustangs break the press, and he'll score 2 more as Breck goes on to score a big win. 81-40 is the final. The Mustangs play Lake City Saturday morning in the Breakdown Sports Tip-Off Classic at the Lindbergh Center in Minnetonka. The Brooklyn Center girls basketball team won its first two of his first three games of the season. Then the Centaurs ran into a tough opponent Thursday, taking on Rockford. The Rockets take control of this game early. Heilicher gets the good bounce on this three-pointer to give Rockford a 12-0 lead to start the game. Brooklyn Center tries to get the offense going. Shemaya Hudson scores in transition to make it 16-6. She scored 7 points in the game. But Rockford dominates the first half. Ava Casiata scores on the turnaround on the way to a big night, 32-11 Rockets at the half. And they pull away to start the second half. Casiata free inside to score 2 over 25 points. The Rockets put it away early. Malia Confair hits a 3 for the Centaurs, but it's too little too late. Centaurs fall 69-26 to Rockford. That is all for sports. We're back with more in a moment.
Stages Theater's latest play features a nanny who is practically perfect in every way. Neil Persley has a first-hand account in today's Weekend Showcase.
I'm practically perfect in every way.
Delaney Hunter becomes Mary Poppins for this audience favorite at Stages Theater's very family-friendly holiday show.
She's a Mod Podge of different things. With the children, she's a little strict, but she's also fun. She takes them on different games throughout the show. And on the way in those games, she brings them to new people like Bert and Mrs. Corey and the Chimney Sweeps.
This is a wonderful musical, and you'll hear all the songs you know and love.
It sort of fit in the holiday season for us, because for us our holiday show is really all about families spending time together, and this show is about a family who's in a bit of a crisis actually, and how this particular character, Mary, really helps bring the family together, back together.
Could we fly it together? Oh, Daddy!
The show is a little longer than typical Stages productions at 80 minutes with a 10-minute intermission in the middle just to get the wiggles out.
Anything can happen if you let it.
Towards the end of the show, she sings a song called Anything Can Happen, and it's one of the most important lessons I think in this show is that anything can happen if you let it, and you are the only person that stops you from doing what your dreams are, what you want out of life.
I have never seen an audience respond as enthusiastically as I did at this show, and I rate it a spirited S for Weekend Showcase from Stages Theater, Neil Persley, CCX News.
Neil couldn't resist, and I absolutely love that. What else could it be rated? Mary Poppins is on stage at Stages Theater through December 27th. And that will do it for us. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here on Saturday starting at noon.